You've been calling yourself lazy for years. But laziness is the wrong diagnosis. Lazy people don't lie awake at night thinking about what they should have done. Lazy people don't feel a tight chest when they open their laptop. Lazy people don't feel shame when they rest. You do. That constant mental noise, the guilt, the avoidance, the self-judgment, is proof of effort happening internally. This is not laziness. This is a conflict between what you want to be and what your nervous system believes is safe. And the disturbing part is this. Your brain is choosing safety over truth. Every single time. Section 1. Laziness does not exist in psychology. In psychology, there is no clinical diagnosis called laziness. There is avoidance behavior, executive dysfunction, fear conditioning, learned helplessness, anxiety, driven procrastination. Calling yourself lazy is a shortcut, a simple label to avoid asking a harder question. What exactly am I avoiding? Research in behavioral psychology shows that humans don't avoid effort. They avoid emotional discomfort. Example, people will willingly do physically exhausting tasks if the emotional cost is low. But ask them to send a vulnerable message, submit imperfect work, start something they might fail at, and suddenly they're lazy. They're not. Their brain is detecting psychological threat. Section 2. Avoidance is a survival mechanism. Avoidance exists for one reason: to reduce perceived danger. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not fulfilled. In early human history, trying and failing publicly meant social rejection. Social rejection meant loss of protection. Loss of protection meant death. Your nervous system still runs on this software, so when you think, I should start, I should try, I should finally do this, your brain hears risk, exposure, judgment, loss of identity, and it responds with fatigue, distraction, numbness, procrastination, not because you're weak, but because your brain believes avoidance equals survival. Section 3. The fear of identity. Collapse. Here's the part people don't want to hear. You're not avoiding work. You're avoiding finding out who you really are. As long as you don't try, you can believe you're capable, you can imagine a better version of yourself, you can protect your ego from evidence. Psychologists call this self-handicapping. It's when people delay action, so failure can be blamed on circumstances, not ability. Example, if I had more time, I'd succeed. If I really tried, I'd be great. I just haven't focused yet. These thoughts feel hopeful. They're not. They're identity insurance policies, because once you try, fantasy dies and reality takes its place, and reality is terrifying. Section 4. Why the right time never comes. The brain loves postponement. Psychology calls this temporal discounting. We emotionally disconnect from future consequences. That's why tomorrow feels safer, next week feels easier, one day feels comforting. Your future self feels brave because they don't exist yet. But neuroscience shows this clearly. Clarity follows action, not the other way around. Waiting for motivation before starting is like waiting to feel warm before stepping into the sun. It never happens. Section 5. Comfort is a sedative. Comfort is not peace. Comfort is nervous system sedation. Scrolling, sleeping, zoning out, overthinking. These behaviors reduce emotional spikes. They calm fear, but they also block growth. Studies on avoidance coping show short-term relief creates long-term anxiety. The more you avoid, the more sensitive you become to discomfort, the smaller your tolerance window gets. The harder action feels next time. Avoidance doesn't keep you stable. It makes you fragile. Section 6. The real cost of avoidance. Avoidance always collects interest, not immediately, quietly. It turns into chronic self-doubt, low self-trust, background anxiety, identity confusion. You stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "How do I stay comfortable?" That's when life feels heavy, not because you're doing too much, but because you're carrying everything you didn't face. Final section. The most uncomfortable truth. One day the fear will disappear. Not because you healed, not because you grew, but because your brain accepted the smaller life. Psychologists call this learned resignation. You won't feel anxious anymore because you won't expect anything from yourself. And that's the real danger. You were never lazy. You were protecting yourself from a truth you weren't ready to face. Now you are. And what you do next is the only thing that matters.